Hey folks, this is Lucid, and we are jumping back into our game with Ermor. We are now entering the late game. It's turn 61. Well, everybody else is entering the late game, and we're stuck behind in the mid game. And what I mean by that is our tech is freaking horrible, but it's getting better, just not very quickly. We cast the voice of Apsu. Did not find anything. Salt has come back, so Salt, of course, being one of our gods, and she lost a level of water, but gained a level of death, so I would call that an upgrade. She is now death 4, but 5 with Skull Staff. And unfortunately only water 2 now, but that's fine. Importantly, we didn't lose a Dominion point, which is what I've been kind of worried about, especially having Trinity gods, like they can potentially die 3 times as fast. So anyway, we don't want to be losing 3 points of Dominion. Some troops died in movement, as if we cared. Coming over this way, we meet some of Yis's dudes. Here we are going. We have a pretty big squad. Not a lot of sacreds, and you really have to be careful with Ermor moving around squads like this without a lot of sacreds, because they can just kind of get picked off. Now we have a few. We got about 10 over here, and that may be enough in case they send some kind of thug. So, yeah. Anyway, we were able to make quick work of a few barbarians and 10 PD. Coming over, we've got he's raiding us here. I'm gonna just kind of go through these pretty quick, and we'll see what's happening on the map. This is where we had, I think, a big army. I think we moved it. And so we left one skeleton here, but we can see just a shit ton of Morvarks. I mean, holy crap, this is like 70 Morvarks. 100 Morvarks, oh my god. It's so many, guys. That's so many. This is like a complete all-in stack from Yes. Like, you kill this, it's a good game. And then, yeah, raids us over here successfully. Here, this is, I forget. Oh, wait, I can't remember what actually happened here. And then here we have a battle with Yes. So this, we moved a big old stack. I don't think he was expecting a full commitment. He had a bunch of barbs here in this province and a bunch of priests to just deal with casual undead. The problem of having, and he's had these guys sitting here for forever. The problem of having, a mostly static defense is, I can see what it is. It's a bunch of priests. It's a bunch of barbs. And so when I bring a big stack, your little medium crap stack dies. Anyway. If you're going to have these guys as one of your defending forces, you probably want to move them around. Don't have the same thing in the same province. That way somebody can't just, send something there. So we lost essentially nothing. Or we lost 2 knights. So that's something. But yeah, we killed 2 druids, 5 priests, a bone reader, and then 70 barbs, and then some PD. So that's pretty clean. Here, Scalaria has his little undead idiots raiding me. And Ashdod moves this stack on top of a fort which I had given to him. So that's not an aggressive move. And then here, it's kind of interesting. He pretty efficiently kills these guys. I was expecting me to at least kill something. Oh no, it's just soulless. Never mind. So yeah, of course they die. And then, even though we had that battle, it was kind of a Pyrrhic victory for him. He knocked us off the throne. We still have a lot of stuff in the area. So we went ahead and moved it back on, just, to let him know that we don't give a fuck. So anyway, big goon squad back on top of the throne. And, yeah. And I think, was that this one? Yeah. And we moved on top of Scalaria. And if you recall, we kind of had a not great turn on top of Scalaria. Last episode, we kind of got our main army crushed. But we killed a bunch of his stuff in the process. And normally now, the Scalaria player is kind of wised up a little bit. Or, he's wising up a little bit. He used to, not think I was going to attack at all. And so he didn't even bother to patrol his capital after winning a fight. Now he knows I'm at least going to raid him. But before, I've only been raiding him with garbage. And this stuff would have killed, because these are like good long dead. They would have killed 100 of my garbage, especially when he has priest support. Some banishment. But what they're not going to kill, this was basically exactly what I was expecting him to do. Patrol with 100 long dead and a priest. And this squad is like specifically designed to be low commitment, so if he patrolled with his whole army, I wouldn't care. If he patrolled with 1,000 long dead, I wouldn't care. But he's not going to, because he needs those priests reanimating, or wants them to be. So I assumed it would be a low commitment patrol, and we were right. So we killed a few guys. We lost, one knight, because anyway. But pretty darn efficient. And I think even if he had brought 2 or 3 times as much, we still would have won, because our Knights of the Sepulchre were pretty good. We would have lost more, like chaff, but who cares? So we have bottled Scalaria back up in their fort. And we got some events that don't matter a ton. Let's go ahead and go to the map. I've got a few turns to do, so we're going to go back into like kind of quick mode for some of these turns instead of rambling, agonizing, philosophizing mode, which is my default mode. So, okay, let's talk about it. Here is his main stack. It's right here. I also have a huge goon squad on top of this. He may think that I don't know that these guys can sail over here, but I do know that. I absolutely do know that. So I'm expecting him to bring this squad down here. Now the beauty of that is if I move this squad onto Nazca and one turn pop it, then these guys should not be able to get to Nazca, because they'll basically be trapped over here. So even if he wins this fight, he's going to lose Nazca. Now that said, I'm not going to try to lose this fight. I'm going to try to win it. And we're going to do Grip of Winter, Rigor Mortis with Salt. And I think we have enough gems on Salt. Like, Salt is not Water 3 like she was before. I've got her up to Water 4. So this should allow her to cast these back to back. And hopefully that will kind of fatigue them out and we'll be good to go. And if they do battlefield wipes, I've got just a shit ton of sacreds here. So I'm not sure. I mean, that's going to always be a risk. They do battlefield wipes and kill all my stuff. But anyway, it's a risk we'll be taking. Because even if we lose, we should get Nazca out of the deal. That's the idea. We're also going to be doing some kind of casual raiding over here. Just sending guys in. One of the things I'm doing a lot is I'm actually subbing in a game right now for a different Ermor player. Just because it's kind of fun subbing into Ermor games. And it's only temporary. He's coming back. But it's kind of interesting to see how people play the nation differently. I like indie priests a lot to get huge amounts of ghouls and kind of have this slow, methodical grow out. I think he's playing more aggressively and less slow and methodical. But it also doesn't get indie priests. But God, these guys are so useful because you can use them to get ghouls, but then you can also use them to lead little raiding squads like this. So these guys are going to come in, they're going to do Unholy Blessing, Unholy Power, Unholy Protection, and it should be that all 3 of these land on these 2. And you can see we've got them scripted, right up behind them. The only problem is I might should have put the Censor over here, because they may, we'll have to see, they may cast it on the Censor and not on these guys. But anyway, so we're going to come in, raid over here. You can see, yes, fighting to try to keep this land. I can't remember if now... No, I'm not sending a message. I don't want to make peace with this now. But I know I was kind of thinking about it. Like, should we make peace? Because that was a pretty expensive last turn. But I think, first of all, I think I have I'm winning the war, even though it's been expensive. But if I win the war, that's going to be a major step forward. The problem with winning the war is there's a decent chance that Yis is going to feel like this land is his. It's in some ways it's a sunk cost because he took it from Nazca and now I'm going to take it from him. And if it no longer makes sense for this to be the right place that he attacks, that's that. But that's not psychologically how most players approach the game. And I think it's easier to just say, we'll just fight the person who we've been fighting or who has wronged us or something, even though he chose this war. But I probably would have attacked him anyway. Not at the time, but given enough time. But it depends. I mean, it very well could have been I kept getting attacked by other people and I never really went to war with DS. But anyway. yeah, it's going to be easier for him, I think, to just say, well, we'll just grind into Ermor for the rest of the game, rather than say, well, maybe our best shot of winning is going after Nabah, because that might be so distant and remote that it's not even worth it. But at this point, this is a big scary stack. A lot of players will struggle to deal with this. So if he took this and went and tried to mess with Nabah, it could work. The problem is it also may not work. Like, Nabah is going to have assassins and all sorts of other garbage. So, I don't know. But looking right now, like, the best he could get out of this war is probably keeping what he already has. So, if I were him, I would be begging me for peace, I think. But that being said, the squids are coming, and I'm sure they're talking, right? So he probably knows, like, hey, help is on the way, and then maybe I can get after some of Ermor's stuff. But it's like, even if he could, which I don't think he can, like, he doesn't win anything. There's no population there. The best thing he could hope to do is, like, take my forts, and then either destroy them or hold on to them for some reason. Like, there's nothing in them. So, yeah, pretty rotten war for Yist to be in. At this point, too, the Yist player has they had some real life issues, so they've kind of subbed out. And the player, they're like half subbed out, so they're like sort of playing, and the player that is ultimately going to take over in a couple turns is like advising, but he's about to take over in full, so I probably won't cover exactly when that transition happens, but it's pretty soon. It may actually even be this turn. And we will see an improvement in the scripting as a result of that transition. So anyway, that's what's happening over here. Over on the Scalaria front, right, we suffered this loss here last turn, and Scalaria has taken some of his skellies to go out raiding, so he's taken this province back. And then he took some other skellies, he had them patrol, but everybody else was reanimating undead, or researching. And so anyway, we're going to send the full goon squad back on top, in case he's like, hey, we had this big victory we just won. We're going to come out, like, this is what I'm thinking is going to happen. Is he's going to take not all his mages, because he's like, we kicked Lucid's ass last turn, so let's just bring out the skeletons and the priest, and we can clear whatever riffraff he's going to bring. Well, we are coming in with not just any riffraff. We're coming in with Winter, who's going to be casting Rigor Mortis, and a boatload, like 200 lictors, I think. Well, maybe not quite that many. I thought there were more lictors. I don't know where they all are. I think they're on the way. They might be another turn out. But anyway, if he comes out with his god, and basically if he comes out with everything, we're going to get crushed here, right? But I don't think he's going to come out with everything, because he's going to want to research to get whatever little next tech objective he's trying to get to while being trapped in his freaking fort. So yeah, anyway, but I really want to get this before the squids eat all my stuff. The problem with that objective is I'm not actually... I needed to make another set of, like, stone boots and, like, the lycanthrope amulet, and I'm not making... I should have made it this turn. So I really slacked and didn't make it, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, we're doing that. We're kind of trying... I don't even remember to try to take this back this turn, which was a mistake. Over here in Pangea, we're down to 12k population. So rapidly declining from gold production. And here we're making Boots of the Youth that I'm going to go ahead and stick on Death, my Astromage. And then we're blood hunting away. In terms of research, we just hit 6. So I think what we do, though I could be wrong, yeah, we're casting Summon Flame Spirit here. So we're getting a Flame Spirit. There's a lot of useful summons at 6. You get Flame Spirits, you get Troll King's Court, you get Contact Lamia Queens, you get Ethergate if you have a ton of pearls you want to waste. You don't actually get many good things in air. And in water we get, I think, Sea King's Court and Streams of Hades. Now, we're not going to do Sea King's Court, but we will do Streams of Hades, because this is going to give us a reliable death caster that, with the Skull Staff can do Rigor Mortis, and then they can, with the bracelet, it's actually really cheap. With a Skull Staff and a bracelet, they can do Grip of Winter, Rigor Mortis combo. And I can twice born them, so if they die, I don't really care, unless they get Soul Slayed, which is definitely a risk against Relay. We could get the Sea King's Court, but it's going to come with upkeep of all the troll units. It's more expensive, and we don't get the death access. I think I would rather take this and Twice Born than do Sea King's Court. And potentially we could also do the Bishop Fish. They're cheap, and if we wanted to Gift of Reason them, we could get a lot more... these guys can reanimate long lictors for Ermor if we wanted to give that a shot, but we don't really have an underwater fort or anything that makes this terribly appealing. Okay. Oh, death, there's some other things too, probably. Specters. Yeah, I don't know. Now for research, we're heading for Alt 6. That's going to give us Darkness, which is going to be good against Yis, and Skeletal Legion, which is going to be very good against Yis, and it's also going to be very good against Relay. So that's Skeletal Legion actually is probably the main reason, which isn't something you see people get very often. But in certain matchups, it's very, very good. And this is one of them. Though I think, I could be wrong, I think the Meteorite card, is it a Glaive? I can't remember. I should know this. Oh no, it's a Trident, it's only Pierce. Okay, so yeah, really going to be good in that matchup. It's going to be like doubling the effective HP of Lictors versus Meteorite Guard. I mean, it's kind of huge. So, yeah. Anyway, we've got that coming. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to cover this turn. I don't think so. We're going for Enchantment 8 to get Mass Regen and Firefend and stuff like that. That way Firestorm won't wreck me, and I can even potentially drop down Thunderward if... Thunderfend. Right now we're not getting Wrathful Skied. That has not happened to us yet, but it's something Yis can do. It's something I'm worried about happening. We had them do it to us once with an Air Queen, but it didn't really work out for them. So anyway, that's it. We're doing a lot of troop logistics, moving troops around. I'm trying to get this filled up to have an adequate number of ghouls. 250 is not enough. And I've got a few turns. We can issue attack orders, I think, on turn 63. So we've got a few turns. We're going to go ahead and go to the next turn, which will be turn 62. And turn 62, there's a Battle in Mirror. So there's a magic phase attack. She says, I'm going to come and summon air elementals at you. I can't remember. I think I actually have people moving patrolling here. Or just moving. And I think they're going to run into her. So yeah, she summoned some air elementals. And that was successful. But then I've got other guys that come in here. And they're like, hey. And she's like, oh, I'm going to summon air elementals at you. And she gets like one off. Oh, that actually kind of worked. Okay, now this guy's a little worn down. Yoink. Bye, milady. So that's kind of funny. Over here, he sails in, and we have a pretty epic battle. So get out your popcorn. On this side, we have 100 more of our knights. We've got this guy to do weapons of sharpness and other garbage. Her to do Acid Storm, I think, or I'm not even sure. And this fucker to do relief, and don't know what she's doing. Bunch of sadness and misery, really. On my side, we have the good guys, the forces for Holy Order, and there's about, I think, 1,000 dudes. Notice we've still never fielded an army as big as Scalaria's. Not even once, and we're like 1,000,000 times the size of them still. Scalaria's just so much stronger than Ermor. Oh my god. Alright. So some things have come up. Let's take a look. We've got the Ravenous Swarm, which, okay. We've got Grip of Winter. That's my side. Now, let's take a look at the Grip of Winter caster, which should be Salt. All right, so here's Salt. She does Grip of Winter, and she's at 51 fatigue, so we are good to go. She's ready to get Rigor Mortis out. Next up is Light of the Northern Star. I think that's their side. And I'm assuming he brought Magic Duelers. I don't know if these guys actually were scripted to Magic Duel. It'd be worth checking. I think they were. I'm pretty sure he had a few, but I could be wrong. If he didn't, shame on him. But I've seen them before in his armies, basically since the sub happened, or since even he went into an advisory position. And it could have been the original player was going to do it too. But just we hadn't been fighting long enough, and I hadn't been using Dusk Elders enough. But I definitely started seeing recently, for whatever reason, I definitely started seeing Magic Duelers coming out. Okay, and here's the first one, Firestorm. So that's going to be a fucker. Now, fortunately, the Firestorm caster is this lady. And she has a lot of MR, but she doesn't have regen. And no amount of MR is going to save you if you don't have regen versus this many Sacreds. Because eventually, she's having to make 100 morale checks a turn. But so far, it's stayed up. Now, we also have Rigor Mortis up. We have Howl. That was Firestorm. Rain of Stones has come up. And that is just decimating my my troops here. So all of my chaff is getting crushed, which just leaves my Sacreds to fight basically unsupported against the Morvarks. Okay, she's already been hit. She's down to 11. Just takes one bad check, though. Even with 28 MR. But we're kind of getting crushed. And this is, I think, an important thing. Like, yeah, if you're looking at this, like, okay, this would be a good time to have Fire Shock resistance, but they could also do Acid Storm. So then it's not even that great. I think we're about to start running. But like what you take on your Bless, okay, Firestorm's down. So she died. She failed an MR check here. And yeah, Blood Vengeance. Yeah, 8 points of damage and it killed her, I think is what happened. So that is that. So Firestorm's down and the caster's dead, which those are cap-only mages. Now, Yissa's going to have a lot of them because it's turn 60. But we're working our way through them. Now, unfortunately, these Lictors run. I think at this point it's No, it's not possible. We were going to lose. So it's probably good they're running. But some of them are breaking. I don't know. It was really close. I think there's a way this would have gone my... Like, if Firestorm failed earlier, which it totally could have. It was all luck. And the chances are like 1%. Or maybe less than that. Maybe like 0.5% every time we take damage that, with the Sacred, that she's going to have to do basically it's going to get through her MR, and then it's going to be a protection roll. So, we're pretty late in combat. It's turn 15, and I think the Firestorm went down only like turn 12, and it got cast by turn 3, so it was up for like 10 turns, 12 turns. I guess that makes sense. I don't know. It felt like a long time, but I don't know. If she had regen on her, it's possible she could keep it up almost indefinitely. But without regen, there's just, you're working against the clock. And if it went down a little bit shorter, I think we might have won this fight. Now, unfortunately, at a strategic level, I'm entering a war with Relay, and taking big losses like this are going to be expensive. Like, it's when you're in a 2v1, you really don't want a lot of... I mean, you never want a lot of attrition, but like if this were just a war with Yis, this would be awesome. Because he cares way, 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 way more about, uh, a Morgan champion and a Morgan sorceress and 56 Morvark knights than I care about 100 lictors and 50 of these guys and 10 mound kings. Like, I don't care about any... Like, this army, it matters a little bit, but it doesn't matter a lot if it were just me versus him. But because it's me versus him in relay, I kind of need this. I can't really afford easily to do just to grind it out. So this is painful. So yeah. Basically, there's that happens over here. He raids here. He tried to cut off all my retreat routes. That was why he cloud trapezed this Morgan sorceress over here. But it didn't. Anyway, it didn't work, so we retreated, and which is a big deal because there were a lot of like 100 undead there. Or I think some of them died in the retreat. 100 units dispersed on their own. 60 made it back to friendly. So I think we lost like about 40 lictors in the retreat. So even just taking this increases the amount of people that are going to die from retreating. So this was still a good move, even though he couldn't block off all their retreats. But such is life. But this is basically all that's left now of Yes. He's got 70 Morvarks. And coming over here, he has failed to knock us off of Nazca. We moved in with this big goon squad. And yeah, it's looking like we're going to get this for free. Because if he was all in over here, it means he's not all in over here. Now, I'm going to just tell you, I make a miscalculation. I make the false assumption that these Morvarks cannot get here. I'm like, of course they can't get here. Apparently they can. Apparently they can march straight through here and straight into here because they're that goddamn fast. So that is something I'm not accounting for. I'm expecting this. I'm like, sweet, we lost a tactical battle here, but strategically we're going to take Nazca. So anyway, we've got that happening. I think we've got a turn or two until the war with... next turn, we're going to put in attack orders with Relay. We can see these guys are massing here. He's got 380. Over here, they're starting to consolidate. And then here, he's got a pretty big goon squad. So anyway, that's all interesting. And then Ashdod is getting ready to come over here and take this. I think I actually moved some guys here. I'm trying to catch this Scalaria army, but they're going to end up bumping into... these guys are moving, patrolling. I'm trying to catch these guys because I was just on autopilot doing the turn. But they're going to bump into these Gath guys next turn. So, whoops. And unfortunately, he didn't send anything out to fight this turn. So, that's a bit unfortunate. And ideally, I would storm the fort this turn because we're mostly set up. I really only need Rigor Mortis. Like, the Grip of Winter stuff is nice. But I don't have it. I mean, I don't have my dude. So I think... God, I hope I am. We're doing Boots of Stone this turn. So I'm foraging it this turn. And then next turn I'll be sending it out. So it's like very late. It's a little upsetting. And we've got this guy going in over here. In case he does another breakout, I would like to have Grip of Winter up. So he's coming in over here. Basically just to cast Grip of Winter. This guy. He scripted Power the Spheres Grip of Winter. It's the script. Oh my god, did he do Quagmire first? Okay, shit. That's actually really bad. He should have done Grip of Winter first, but whatever. It's not going to end up mattering, I don't think. And I think we fix it before it matters, but... We also have a Dire Portent go up. Paz, Queen of Arcane Mysteries, has cast Wrath of God. Somebody just had an accident in front of my house. 1 second. Okay, we're back. So, anyway, Wrath of God got put up. So now my neighbors have Purgatory and Wrath of God, which means very hard to conduct extensive or deep military operations into either Nabal or into these idiots. And, this is the pain of playing a big, scary Ermor, is I have no globals. Yes, I'm the biggest. and I'm the baddest. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to team up against me. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm definitely in position. I think I'm in position 1. Relay may be in position 1 because Relay has, well, they just have stellar focus actually, but they're the biggest. Their income's the highest by a lot. If we look at income, they're like way above everybody else. So anyway, there's that. Sorry, keep getting distracted up in here. I have to pause the video. Okay, so anyway, what are we doing? It's turn 62, so we can't do attack orders yet. I'm going to move some goons over here so that next turn we'll be in position to do some attacking. So anyway, that's... One second, my dog is freaking out. Okay, my dog freaking out because there's a cat outside. Losing his freaking mind. Oh my god, there's a cat out the window. Had to let him out. Now he wants back in. But anyway, you don't care about that. What you care about is how we destroy the squids. And we're going to be moving some raiding forces up here. I've also got a ton of scouts which I'm putting up here. And the purpose of scouts is to hold Bane Venom Charms. Got a fair amount here too. We've got labs in both these so I can Bane Venom Charm them. I've got enough Bane Venom Charms. If I guess correctly where he goes, to disease about 30% a turn. 25%, so it's like 100 dudes a turn. Pretty okay. That way, if he gets the idea that maybe this was a bad idea and wants to peace out, well, I've killed a significant portion of his army anyway. So I guess in some ways it makes him like more committed to go ahead and fight. So maybe it's not a great idea, but if you want to check into the Ermorian Hotel, you've got to be prepared to sleep with a little bit of funk in your bed. Okay, yeah. So anyway, I think that's basically it for this turn. We'll go ahead and pull up the next one. Oh, well, let's look a little bit at forging and stuff. I don't think I've covered that. Here we're doing Boots of the Messenger. Here we're making the Lycanthrope Amulet with that Staff of the Tree God I got from earlier. What are we doing with our... We're doing Dwarven Hammers now, because I kind of need those. I probably could have made a Troll first and then done Dwarven Hammers, but anyway. We're getting more Archbishops. I think we're getting 3 this turn. Pog. And we're summoning another Flame Spirit. And ideally, we'll probably use these guys to site search a little bit until we draw them into to duty, where we're going to have them doing Firefend. So that's it for this turn. Let's go ahead and pull up 63. Turn 63. That's probably the last one for this episode. It'll be a little short. We tried to cast Dispel, too. I just did like a light Dispel, and I didn't cover that. It was just like base cost Dispel, but I'd stacked a bunch of... whatchamacallit? A bunch of Astral items on him. So, I don't know. I think it was effectively like a 20 or 30 overcast for Dispel. But it didn't work. We were trying to take down Wrath of God. Because Wrath of God is going to slow my ability to eat all the Nazcan land. And that is something I want to do. So anyway, we're unsuccessful. A Dire Portent goes up. People are just fighting over globals, and I have none. But I can't keep them up. If I put any global up, like especially if I put Well of Misery, they would pool and let somebody else take it from me. Like, that's almost guaranteed to happen. So, better I don't waste my gems. And if I do it, I need to, like, really cast it. You know, cast it, like, 500 or something. Which I could do. You know, it's only, like, 10 turns to get 500. But in those 10 turns, it's going to be determined whether I am going to make it or not in my present form into the late game. So I think we're not going to do that. I think that's too greedy. We did some other cloud trapezing stuff. I cloud trapezed a thug underwater. I don't think I really even had terribly great vision of what was here, but I'm trying to knock down his temples because of Wrath of God. And just to do it. So anyway, we're doing that. Over here, he sends in an Air Queen to snipe my god. Now, It did kill my god, but unfortunately, it did not kill my lictors. And they are blessed. And what that means is blood vengeance and axes to the GD face. So get the fuck out of here. There were two of them, actually. We killed both. So that was outrageously expensive for them. Unfortunately, we lost our white mage, so Salt, you have died multiple times, but, you know. And we lost an archbishop. I think this is our first archbishop to lose all game. So, and considering we can make like 3 Eternal most, not exactly a grievous loss. But, you know, if Salt comes back with and makes us lose a Dominion point, we'll be sad. But otherwise, it's just, we have plenty of priests, we'll get her back. But Salt herself is probably a little salty about these transpirings. Fortunately, we were able to pick up most of her gear. We got the Skull Staff and the Rib of the Sea and the Boots of the Messenger and the Water Bracelet. So, Salt, you will be back and we kept your gear for you. Do not worry. Okay. We attack here and fail quite horribly. Quite horribly. I mean, this is not a very big force. Okay, I say fail horribly, but look how many gems we made them spend. Look at all these gems. Those gems are worth way more than my squad. So actually, that was a major victory. Not major, minor. But look at this. Look at these druids. 3, 3, 3, 3. This is like 15... Probably like 15 gems. Maybe more. I mean, God, can you imagine spending 15 gems to kill this pile of garbage? I mean, that's so worth it for me. And this is when I get surprised, and Nazca moved through the woods like these things freaking fly, and hits me in Nazca. I mean, so, yes, moves these things through the woods as if they were flyers, like I'm fighting Calum here. I mean, because, you know, woods are not like a thing that you can move quickly through. He doesn't have, he didn't have forest survival, does he? No, he didn't have forest survival. They just have 22 map move, and apparently that is enough to go from that throne through hostile woods into... I think because I was sieging Nazca, that also counts as a hostile province, but I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it does. So into a hostile province. So the god comes, and the god is loaded up with water gems, and the god is going to cast Acid Storm, which we'll watch. On my side... We don't have a ton of stuff. We've got Home Slice here who's going to drop Rigor Mortis. But so long as he's doing... This was to deal with like some kind of Air Queen or something that would come out. So long as he's got... some kind of battlefield wipe up. And I do not have a ton of lictors here. This is mostly chaff. Yeah, so long as I've got a lot of chaff, he's still going to cause an HP rout. Even if I... Like, Rigor Mortis, Fatigue plays do not work that well when you're vulnerable to battlefield wipes. It's kind of like battlefield wipes trump Rigor Mortis. Did I do Darkness? Solar Eclipse, okay. That's going to help a little bit. These guys are going to get a slight stat penalty. Darkness -1. It's still worth it, but... Unfortunately, you know, if we had more lictors, it would be nice, because we're kind of close to killing... Oh, no, we're not, actually. She's 26. But the Acid Storm, these Morvarks are vulnerable to it. And so you can see, I think a lot of them end up... are hit by it. Maybe not. This is just Rigor Mortis working. I don't really see where these guys got damaged. Fatigue damage. I'm not sure. Either way, this was a shit ton of Morvarks at the beginning, and it's not a shit ton anymore. So if we look at it, he lost 44 Morvarks. That's basically Jeej. He's completely fucked. He is out of the game. He is a null power. But on the downside, I thought I was going to be getting basically a free cap out of this, and I didn't. So was it worth him? It like for him, it's just like a horrible situation. Do I let Ermor take Nazca, or do I give up any hope of ever potentially winning the game? And he said, well, let's give up all hope of potentially winning the game and let Ermor take Nazca. Because now he has, to his name, he has these 20 Morvarks, some of which are probably afflicted, and he's got maybe 20 more. So he is a turn 60 ES with 40 Morvarks. It's horrible. I mean, he can get more, but never. I mean, he's essentially a null power in the Morvark department, right? So he's going to have to win through human troops and Kernel Druids, which, good luck. Good luck. The Kernel Druids are great. The human infantry is kind of garbage. Yeah. I mean, they'll get torn apart by my Sacreds. Like, whereas the Morvarks, you can see the Morvarks killed a ton of stuff. I mean, not as much as the battlefield wipes, but once I get like 400 guys in a province, like 400 Sacreds, the battlefield wipes are not going to work. Because it's just too many MR checks. Even if you have regen, like 400, yeah. And I'm pretty close to Enchant 8. When I have Enchant 8, the only one that's going to like be devastating is going to be like Acid Storm, because I'm going to have Fire Shock resistance from Enchant 8. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see. I don't know. Well, I mean, he's definitely out of the running for being a contender, but how the rest of the war plays out, we'll have to see. What is this? Some idiots run into some more idiots. I think this is like kind of an even trade. He summoned... Well, no. The thing is he's using gems to summon elementals, which... Like, this is super low commitment from me. Or not super, because I've got a few priests. But, like, look at all these gems he used. There's probably, again, like 10 more gems. 15 gems. And those add up. And sure, he kills some of this stuff. And is this of value? Not really. A little bit of value. There's, like... I mean, did the... Like, 240 gold? That's something. It's not nothing. But, like, he lost more than 240 gold. But for him, gold is less precious than it is for me. So... But he lost all the gems. I lost 8 free spawn knights. I don't know. It's okay. Like, I'm not saying he shouldn't be doing it. Because, like, if you're fighting Ermor, you need to take whatever you have and make sure you're not losing ground. And he has gems, and he's using those to not lose ground. So, like, that is, in some ways, the right play. But I'm just saying, it's an engagement you probably don't want to be in. But, I mean, he's also, like, kind of fighting for his survival. Like, you don't just give Ermor stuff either. So. Okay, Morgan Champion runs into Gnome. Here he hits my guys that I had that were going to try to catch the Scalarian party. I put them on move and patrol. And then here we die to some PD. We got attacked by some knights. We got some population and some income. Earth gems. We got a rabbit foot charm. Some gold. And there's an arena battle coming up. Oh, it happened, and then... Yeah, when a Morgan Champion got a knight thing. This is on top of Scalaria. So this kind of sucks, actually, because he didn't break out an attack or ping it. But this lets him know who's in my army. And importantly, it lets him know that I have an Astral Mage here. He could potentially Magic Duel if he's paying attention. Whereas this guy did come in, and he was set to fight. So that's why he's participating. He's not hiding. But... And apparently it's going to trigger gym use, too, which also sucks. Anyway, So anyway, now he knows like my full script because this triggered gym use, and he knows I have an Astral Mage here. So that sucks. I think that's about everything. So what are we doing this turn? Well, we're going to be doing some very light raids. I don't have... This is a lot of guys. This is a lot of guys. And this is a lot of guys. And I'm really busy with Scalaria and yes. So I don't really have the resources to fight yet, to fight these frogs and squids. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of just let them check into my my hotel. I'm thinking they're going to come here. Here's what the move I think. I think the move is they move here and then move here. And they take over both of my lakes. And then they build forts in them. And then they just fuck with me. They just... Like, wherever my army is in it, they pop out. They one turn pop a fort, storm it, and tear it down. And they do that till they destroy all the forts in this region. It's not going to help them, really, at all. It's just going to piss me off. But, I mean, it helps them in the sense that it hurts me. But if I ever friggin' catch them with, like, a doom stack, there's a decent chance I can kill them. But right now, because I'm tied up, I don't really have a lot of sacreds. And non-sacred armies are not going to beat this, I don't think. So anyway, we're going to let them... I've got... If they come on top of this fort, then great. We've got 400 siege defense and 750 wall integrity, so they can hang out there for a while. If they come on top of this fort, I've got 5 Bane Venom Charms, which will poison about, or disease about a third of their army. And, yeah, I think that's about it. On that front. On this front, I'm just going to be attacking down here. I wanted to go raid these temples, but I'm not going to do it yet. There's dudes guarding it. I'm not going to send in... I did some tests where I tested how Dusk Elders do. They don't do great. Any amount of Meteorite Guard in the PD makes it pretty tough. They can kind of do it. Like, they can kind of... Meteorite Guard are hard to thug, right? They can kind of thug the Meteorite Guard, but, and it's a kind of big but, if they ever get paralyzed by the Mind Blasters in the back, they're going to be wrecked. So, like, this one that has extra Mind Blasters, no way. But all PD has at least one Mind Blaster. So, it's a bit of a mess. I tested it. I'll raid it when there's no nobody but PD. But until that point, I don't think so. Anyway, that's kind of the plan. And then we finally have Foolish Pride. He's going to be our Chad Censor, who's going to run in. We're bringing gym reinforcements. And he's going to run in, and we'll be ready to storm the castle. Because if we do the fatigue play, and we've got the Berserk dude, then we should win the day. And Foolish Pride will probably die. Because it's a sacrificial job, because there's a decent chance he times out the battle. But anyway, he's coming in, and the next turn we should be able to storm the fort. So that is the idea, and we will see what the world holds. I think I sent a message to... Oh gosh, I probably did it last turn. But I sent a message the previous turn, I think, to Yes, or maybe I do it this coming turn, where I'm like, dude, we should... I don't know why I wouldn't have done it this turn. I think I sent it to him in... God, I thought I would have sent it this turn. I must send it next turn. Where basically I'm going to propose we should make peace. Like, we've completely destroyed each other's armies. And while I would like to get all of this, I don't think it's worth it, especially with me having to fight Relay. So, I think I tell him in the message I'm willing to make, like, a very long-term peace, like to promise to not attack you for a long enough time for you to conduct a major war. You know, like a nap 5 on top of, like, 12 turns of guaranteed peace or something like that. But anyway, that, I guess I haven't sent that message out yet. Because at this point, I don't really have much. Neither of us have anything. I mean, the thing is, I'm going to regenerate, like, in 5 or 6 turns, you won't even be able to tell. Because I'm going to have, like, another 200 lictors, and I didn't lose many mages or anything. And my tech is coming online, where I'm going to have, like, way more mage support. I'm going to be way stronger in 5 turns than I was now. But Yis is quite the opposite. Yis is crushed. So, anyway, and It seems to me if I were Yis, I would want peace, because right now he's just going to have to fight to maintain the status quo, which is not really something you particularly ever want to do. We were successful in killing this temple, so we're going to scoot this dude out. We can also see he's got Limne, who's the water elemental that can go on land, and she's extremely hard to kill. So I don't know where she's going to go. I'm guessing she'll go here. I thought about trying to send a thug to kill her, but I probably could, but it's really, really hard. It's so hard. Like, you have to bring either things that are going to like do MR checks, like a Heartfinder sword or something, or an Elf Slayer. And you just have to like probably stream skeletons at her and have another thug hit her from the side. Anyway, it's pretty rough, but that's basically the idea. You can see a lot of troop movement. We've gotten the siege strength up here to 400. I'm moving a lot of ghouls around, trying to balance out where they are. And I want to get this, look at this, it's 450. I probably need to get this up to like even higher, like ideally like 460 or something, 500. It's going to make it a really long time for him to siege through it. But that's basically it. We're raiding here. And I think we're taking off a lot of the raiding pressure on Yes, because I'm trying to make peace with him. I think I sent him a message in Discord. So anyway, we're not really raiding Yes that much. Hopefully he'll be nice, but if not, we'll go back to raiding him again. But I think that is it for the episode, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. And I've got 2 turns to do in the next one, so it will be exciting. I promise you that. Take care.